What net worth actually makes you rich in 2025? Not Instagram rich, not fake flexing on TikTok rich, actually rich, where you don't stress about money anymore. And what about comfortable or poor? Where do those lines actually fall? Today, I'm breaking down what each wealth level actually feels like to live. Not just numbers, real daily life at each stage. By the end, you'll know exactly where you stand and what's waiting at the next level. Let's get into it. Let me start by saying something important. Net worth isn't just what's in your bank account. It's everything you own minus everything you owe. Your savings, your investments, your house value if you own one, your car, your retirement accounts, add all that up. Then subtract your mortgage, your car loan, your student loans, your credit card debt. Whatever's left is your net worth. For a lot of people, that number is negative. They owe more than they own. And that's the first level we need to talk about. Level 1, negative to $0 net worth. This is survival mode. You're not building wealth. You're climbing out of a hole. Every paycheck is already spent before it arrives. Debt payments eat your income. Interest accumulates while you sleep. You're running on a treadmill going backwards. Daily life at this level is stressful in ways that people with money don't understand. You do math in your head constantly. Can I afford gas and groceries? Which bill can I delay? What happens if something breaks? You avoid checking your accounts because the numbers hurt. You decline invitations because you can't afford them. You feel shame that you're working hard and still drowning. In 2025, about 15% of Americans have zero or negative net worth. You're not alone, but you are in the danger zone. The goal at this level is simple. Get to zero. Pay off the debt. Stop the bleeding. Zero net worth sounds sad, but it's actually a massive achievement when you're starting from negative. Level 2, $0 to $10,000 net worth. You're out of the hole, but you're standing at the edge. Still fragile. Still vulnerable. At this level, you have a small cushion, maybe a few thousand in savings, but one real emergency wipes it out. One job loss, one medical bill, one major car repair. Back to zero, or worse. Daily life is less panicked, but still anxious. You're not drowning anymore, but you're treading water. The stress is lower, but it's always there. A background hum of financial worry that never fully goes away. You can handle small surprises. A $500 expense doesn't destroy you, but a $3,000 expense still might. About 25% of Americans are in this zone. It feels like progress because it is progress, but it's not safety yet. The goal at this level is reaching $10,000. That's escape velocity. That's where the math starts working for you instead of against you. Level 3, $10,000 to $50,000 net worth. This is where something shifts. You can finally breathe. At $10,000, you have a real emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses. The constant anxiety starts fading. You stop doing mental math every time you buy groceries. At $25,000, you start feeling stable. At $50,000, you're building momentum. Your money is probably invested now. Compound interest is actually doing something. Small, but visible. Daily life at this level feels different. You're not rich, but you're not scared. An unexpected $2,000 expense is annoying, but manageable. You don't panic when your car makes a weird noise. You start making decisions from security instead of desperation. You can negotiate harder at work because you're not terrified of losing your job. You can take calculated risks because you have a cushion. About 20% of Americans are in this zone. You're now doing better than roughly half the country. That might not feel impressive, but statistically, it is. The goal at this level is crossing $50,000 and entering the comfortable zone. Level 4, $50,000 to $100,000 net worth. This is the threshold of comfortable. Most money stress disappears here. At $50,000, you can handle almost any single emergency without going into debt. At $100,000, you're watching compound interest actually work. Your money made $8,000 or $10,000 last year just by existing. Daily life at this level is calm. You pay bills without checking your balance first. You go to restaurants without calculating what you can order. You book the flight without stressing about the cost. You start thinking longer term, not just surviving until next month, but planning for years ahead. Retirement stops being an abstract concept and becomes a real goal with real numbers. Relationships with money change too. You're not fighting with your partner about expenses. You're not jealous of friends who have more. You're comfortable. The word actually means something now. About 15% of Americans have net worth in this range. You're solidly in the top half. Life feels manageable, stable, okay. The goal here is breaking $100,000. That's where comfortable becomes something more. Level 5, $100,000 to $250,000 net worth. You've officially crossed into the top third of American households. You have more than most people will ever accumulate. At this level, compound interest becomes your coworker. Your investments might add $10,000 to $25,000 per year without you doing anything. Your money is making money. Daily life has genuine margin. You don't think about most purchases. You can absorb big expenses without adjusting your life. A $5,000 surprise is annoying, not devastating. You start having real options. You could take a sabbatical. You could switch careers. You could move somewhere new. The cushion gives you freedom to make choices beyond just survival. Job security matters less because you could survive months without income. Bad bosses have less power over you. Toxic workplaces are easier to leave. About 12% of Americans are in this zone. You're doing well by any reasonable measure. Not rich yet, but genuinely secure. The goal here is reaching $250,000. That's where security transforms into early freedom. Level 6, $250,000 to $500,000 net worth. Now we're entering wealthy territory. Not flashy wealthy, quiet wealthy, real wealthy. At $250,000, your investments might generate $20,000 to $25,000 per year. That's a part-time salary doing nothing. At $500,000, it's $40,000 to $50,000. That's a full salary in many parts of the country. Daily life at this level is genuinely free from money stress. There's nothing in a normal store you can't afford. Vacations are about preference, not budget. You upgrade things because you want to, not because the old one broke. You think in years and decades, not weeks and months. You're planning inheritances, considering early retirement, thinking about what you actually want from life, not just what you can afford. Work becomes optional in a different way. You might keep working because you want to, not because you have to. That psychological shift changes everything about how you show up. About 8% of Americans are in this zone. You're in the top 10%. Congratulations. You've won a game most people don't even get to play. The goal here, if you have one, is $500,000 to $1 million. That's where wealthy becomes legitimately rich. Level 7, $500,000 to $1 million net worth. You're a half millionaire or better. This sounds fancy because it is. At this level, your investments can realistically replace a middle-class income. $500,000 at a 4% withdrawal rate is $20,000 per year. $1 million is $40,000 per year. Forever, without touching the principal. Daily life is whatever you want it to be. You can design your days around fulfillment, not obligation. You can retire early if you want. You can work on passion projects. You can help family members without hurting yourself. Most material desires are easily met. The things you can't afford at this level are yachts and private jets. Everything else is accessible. About 5% of Americans are in this zone. You're in the top tier. The stress of money is a distant memory. The game has fundamentally changed. Level 8. $1 million plus net worth. You're a millionaire. Top 3% of American households. At $1 million, your money generates $80,000 to $100,000 per year at historical market returns. That's a good salary appearing from nowhere. At $2 million, it's $160,000 to $200,000. At $5 million, you're generating more passive income than most people earn working. Daily life at this level is difficult today. Describe to people who haven't experienced it. Money is no longer a factor in almost any decision. It's just not something you think about. Your problems are different problems. Estate planning, tax optimization, what to do with your time, how to raise kids who aren't spoiled, existential questions about meaning and purpose that money can't answer. Here's the thing about this level, though. It doesn't feel 10 times better than $100,000, even though it's 10 times more money. Hedonic adaptation kicks in. The mansion becomes normal. The luxury car is just your car. The expensive vacation is just a vacation. The biggest difference isn't happiness, it's freedom. Complete, absolute freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. That's what $1 million plus actually buys. Now let me tell you where most people go wrong with all this. They compare themselves to the wrong reference point. If you have $50,000 and you're comparing yourself to millionaires, you'll feel poor. But you're doing better than 60% of Americans. You're winning. If you have $200,000 and you're comparing yourself to billionaires on social media, you'll feel behind. But you're in the top 15%. You're crushing it. Comparison to people above you will always make you feel inadequate. There's always someone richer, always a higher level, always more. Compare yourself to where you were. Compare yourself to the median. Compare yourself to what you actually need. By those measures, you're probably doing better than you feel. Let me also say this. Net worth is not the only measure of a good life. Someone with $50,000 and great relationships and meaningful work and solid health is living better than someone with $5 million who is lonely and purposeless and falling apart physically. Money solves money problems. It doesn't solve happiness problems. It doesn't solve meaning problems. It doesn't solve health problems. Build wealth because it creates options, because it reduces stress, because it provides security. But don't make it the only scoreboard. The goal isn't to maximize net worth. The goal is to reach enough. Enough so money isn't a source of stress. Enough so you have freedom and options. Enough so you can focus on what actually matters. For most people, that number is somewhere between $500,000 and $2 million, depending on lifestyle and location. Beyond that, you're just adding digits for the sake of digits. So where are you right now? Which level are you at? More importantly, what would it take to reach the next level? What's the gap? What's the timeline? What's the plan? Those are the questions worth asking. Not how do I compare to billionaires, but how do I get from where I am to where I want to be? Every level is achievable. People climb these ladders every day. Some start from negative and end up at $1 million. It happens. It can happen for you. It just requires knowing where you are, knowing where you're going, and putting one foot in front of the other until you get there. If this video helped you understand where you stand, hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every week breaking down wealth and what it actually takes to build it. Comment below and tell me, which level are you at right now? Be honest. That's where growth starts. All right, go build that net worth. I'll see you in the next one.